Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Aesthetic Expert panel discussion. I'm thrilled to have you with us for a conversation that promises to be both practical and inspiring. I hope I'm visible and audible. You can see the screen as well.
Yes.
Okay, great. So at Business of Aesthetics, our mission is to help dermatology, plastic surgery, and aesthetic professionals not only achieve growth, but also find real fulfillment in their practice. We know that positioning your practice and standing out in a crowded market is challenging. And that's exactly why we bring together the brightest leaders every week to share their success stories, their lessons learned, and the strategies that truly work. So let's give a warm welcome to our panelists, Monica DeAngelis and Sam Pick. Thank you for taking time to share your wisdom and experience. We're super grateful that you guys are here tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is amazing. Appreciate it.
Great. All right. Tonight, we're diving into a topic that touches every successful aesthetic practice. It is about selling high-ticket aesthetic packages without being salesy. High-value treatments and packages are a vital part of practice growth and long-term patient relationships, yet many clinicians feel a natural hesitant when it comes to selling, right? How do you present premium services confidently and authentically so patients feel cared for rather than sold to? So that's the heart of tonight's conversation. I'm Chahara Bandara, and I will be your host for tonight's panel. All right, before we dive into tonight's panel, let me ask you something. When someone is in your area, searches online for the aesthetic treatments you offer, is your practice the one they see first? Or is it your competitor? This is a challenge many aesthetic practice owners face. You might deliver incredible results, but if you are not visible online, you are leaving steady flow of high-value patients untapped. The good news is there's a clear way forward. With the right data-driven digital marketing strategy, one that focuses on smart audience targeting, retargeting, and conversion-optimized funnels, you can not only attract more leads, but turn them into loyal paying clients. Stick with us until the end of tonight's session because we have something special lined up that will help you put these strategies into action and dramatically boost your online presence. Now let's meet our incredible panelists who will be sharing their wisdom with us tonight. We're delighted to welcome Monica DeAngelis. She is the founder of Bell Laser Med Spa, where she combines her passion for aesthetics with a commitment to patient-centered care. With strong background in medical spa management and hands-on expertise in laser technologies, Monica has built Bell Laser Med Spa into a trusted destination for advanced treatments and exceptional client experiences. She is dedicated to helping patients feel confident through safe, effective, and customized care. As a leader and entrepreneur, Monica continues to innovate, mentor, and set new standards for excellence in the aesthetic industry. So welcome to the panel, Monica.
Thank you. Next
up, we have Samuel Peak. We are honored to welcome you, Samuel Peak. He is the founder and CEO of Incredible Marketing, a leading international digital marketing agency specializing in the aesthetic industry. Combining legal expertise with creative marketing skills, Sam has guided the agency to serve over 1,500 practices across 22 countries. A published author and sought-after consultant, he has presented at more than 250 aesthetic medicine and tech conferences worldwide. His expertise and innovative approach have established him as a premier thought leader and pioneer in healthcare digital marketing. Welcome to the panel, Sam.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it tonight.
You're very welcome. And I want to say how truly grateful I am that each of you made the time to be here. Your presence is what makes this conversation powerful. So thank you so much. So today, we will be exploring how to build trust through education, transparency, and aesthetic patient testimonials, and also how to highlight value by tailoring treatment packages to each patient's unique goals, and how to use consultative selling techniques that position you as a trusted advisor rather than a salesperson. And most importantly, how to create genuine urgency with meaningful incentives without ever resorting to manipulate pressure. Together, these strategies will help you grow your practice while keeping every patient relationship strong and, most importantly, authentic. We have also prepared some excellent questions, and I'm really looking forward to dive into them with our panel. And remember, this is not just talking to you, right? We want you in the conversation too. So drop a heart, a thumbs up, or even just a quick hello in the chat. We love seeing your energy and participation. We need that. If you have any questions, send it in the chat. I'll do my best to bring into the live discussion. And if we happen to run out of time, don't worry. We have Whitney with us today from our team. So she will follow up, and afterwards, she will make sure to get back to you with the answers. All right. Having said that, let me stop sharing my screen. Having said that all, let's go ahead and get started. Our first question is for Monica. Many providers feel uneasy about selling. How do you use education and transparency in consultation to build trust with patients and naturally guide them toward high value packages, such as your membership program, which has categories like diamond, platinum, gold, silver? Would like to hear that from you.
Sure. So I believe transparency and education are the very essence of our business, really, not just as a sales technique, but because I started this business by making a list of everything that bothered me within this industry. And I try to mitigate every single one of those issues. Amongst it was price transparency, was this pushy sales environment, which is found in a lot of different med spas, and I think people are kind of jaded about it. And the lack of price transparency is directly linked with that, because if you refuse to give price over the phone or on the website, you're forcing the patient to come in and therefore pressure them to buying something. So our whole strategy is based on not putting pressure. And I literally train every single person that walks in to work with us to not put pressure on people. Nobody likes to be pressured. No one enjoys that, and it doesn't work. And even if it does, you could get, a request for a refund later because they regret it. So the whole basis of our business is to we're actually friends with a lot of our patients nowadays because they come in for a cup of coffee. Sometimes they don't even need service. They just come to chat. But we service a lot. Our main demographic would be women anywhere from 35 to 55, 60 years old. And as we start to age, you start seeing changes in your face. And a lot of us have no idea what's going on. So what we try to do is say, listen, this is what's happening. These are the pillars of aging. You're losing bone density. Your adipose and muscle tissue is shifting because of that bone density loss. You're dropping your collagen production at a rate of 1% a year after 25, and 30% after menopause. Within the first 5 years of menopause, you're going to lose 30 to 40% of all the collagen you'll ever produce. Texture changes, hyperpigmentation. So we try to explain what's happening and what we can do to fix it. Now, I always say this, you're not going to stop aging. So that's the biggest selling point for the membership, because we made it very affordable. It's an open credit membership. So you have 4 tiers, and they offer different discounts, but they all accumulate credit into your account. So it's almost like your beauty savings account. And like this summer, we had patients that didn't come for the whole 3 months, and now they have $6, $8, $1,000 saved into their account, and they can use it towards services. Now, if you're referring to packages, I also explained that none of these laser services work without doing multiple sessions. So it's like that for laser hair removal. It's like that for laser skin tightening, anything you're doing with lasers, it's not a one and done. And we also explain the combination of these, the power of the combination of the laser rejuvenation treatments with injectables. That combination is really what creates our most dramatic results. So basically, it's just about education, really. But my business had really solid financial planning before being started. So there was no desperation on our end to, oh, we need to sell right now. We had the chance to build a base. We create a lot of educational materials for social media, but 90% of the time in-house, we are educating people and explaining to them how things work. And that's the formula for us.
That's great to hear, actually. I loved how you started. Like, you started your business with everything that bothered you, right?
Yes.
If that is the base of any industry, it is going to succeed, because it's not only you, everyone is facing those problems.
Oh,
So
of course, of course. And I know nobody likes to have to call in to ask how much it is to do. And we're talking about basic services. I understand you wanting someone to come in for a consultation for injectables because you don't know how many syringes they're going to need. But an underarm is an underarm. Laser hair removal is a commodity at this point. So just give the person the price. It's this much per session and this much for the package. And if they can afford it, they can. If they can't, it's not going to change by bringing them into the office. So I just didn't see any point in that. And I think from a business standpoint, it's actually silly because you're creating an obstacle for the purchase. So as a business owner, you have to be a facilitator for sales. And if I have this available on my website, so on Black Friday, we sell like crazy because we do anywhere from 30 to 35% off on the entire website. We have amazing sales, but if my prices and my e-commerce website wasn't up, I would be doing myself a disservice. So yes, it's a good strategy for sure.
that is very true. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sam, I would like to get back to you. I loved your recent LinkedIn quote you shared. Sometimes you just gotta ask,
Yeah.
right? Simply, it was about how we sometimes talk ourselves out of opportunities instead of simply asking. That really connects to authentic marketing, because patients can sense when a story is real. From your marketing perspective, how does transparency through authentic storytelling, real testimonials, or educational content build trust even before a patient walks through the door?
Well, I mean, this is the fundamental key of what we do, right? Whether it's a practice owner, provider, a digital marketing company, you want to connect with the potential patient before they ever even walk through that door. So you want to provide, like what Monica said, amazing educational content, whether it's on social media or on the website or wherever else you're placing it online, right? And it's this wonderful self-selection process that occurs. If you create authentic, transparent, really connected content that has a visceral reaction with the potential patient, it's self-selecting. Those patients that are right for you connect with you, and thus they choose you. And you don't have to sell them then. You have educated them. So in your mind, you're already the thought leader. You're already experienced when they walk through the door. There's imbued trust in what it is that you are providing, what you offer, et cetera, et cetera. But then on top of that, not only do they have that trust when they're walking through the door, you've answered their questions, you've provided educational material that has allayed their concerns, or like what Monica talked about, addressed the elephant in the room, right? Pricing. When you get that obstacle out of the way, when that hurdle just doesn't have to be overcome anymore, you're already dealing with a potential patient that's so much further down that funnel. So they're coming in educated, they're coming in trusting you. And now at this point, It's not a question of price. You're there to reinstill that connection through amazing storytelling, authentic content, visceral content. And now they're only looking for reasons not to select you at that point. So you've done your job. You have done all that you need to do in providing them all the tools necessary to select you without ever having to sell them on anything.
Because you
There
create a
was never, yeah,
perception of value. Yeah.
exactly. It's not only a perception of value, but it also creates such an authentic and valuable relationship right from the beginning because it sets up the ability to communicate, but then to be able to guide, right? They're not coming in saying, hey, look at my phone. I want you to do this, 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 and this. And I saw this in someone else's place. And I want this done. And look at how she looks. And yeah, no, none of that. They were able to see your stuff. They were able to connect with you. They are already looking up to you for the advice that you're going to give them and help them lead them on their journey and on their path. So it's authentic content, real content, transparent content, and ultimately that visceral content. That's everything.
That's amazing. Do you want to add anything, Monica?
No, I agree. I've had a couple people that walked into there and said, I've been watching your page for about 6 months and I love what you guys do. And they've researched everything, our reviews, our website, our Instagram page. And yes, those contents are not always fun to make because it's a lot of work. I'm sure Sam knows about this. It's almost like a full-time job, but it pays off because at the end of the day, if you can establish yourself as an authority in terms of education, if you're when you educate your patient, you empower them to make better decisions. So, but also you establish yourself as an authority in their eyes. And I think there's a, you inevitably will capitalize on that. And I think it only works if it's genuine, if you truly care about what you're doing, if you're not just doing it to sell. And at the end of the day, that's what we do. We do it because we want to educate people, we want to empower them, and we have people who follow us from different states or different countries, and I go like, I don't care, like as long as we're helping more people to understand the difference between erbium and CO2, or why you should do this procedure instead of that, it makes me happy already.
That's great. Like, be transparent online, then you are done with your job, right?
Exactly.
Because education, as you mentioned, both of you mentioned, education empowers clients for better decisions. That's all what we need.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Getting back to you, Monica. When presenting larger treatment packages, as we discussed earlier, what approaches have you found most effective in helping patients see long-term value while customizing solutions to their individual goals?
Sure. So the higher ticket items, so I'll give you an example. Like a 4G facelift is $850 a session. Photona is the manufacturer. It's an ultra performance laser. It's possibly the best laser in the world. It's amazing what that machine can do. You can plump lips, you can lift the face, you can resurface skin. It can treat snoring, quantifiably treat it. You download an app, you measure your snore score, and then you do the treatment. You go home, you measure it again, and you see it drops from like 60 to 50, then to 40, then to 30. It's incredible what it does. So first of all, I make sure that I have equipment that can deliver what I'm promising and that can actually make a difference. Um, but second, I just explained, listen, initially, especially for someone who hasn't done much, it's almost like remodeling a house, and then after that, you just have to paint a little bit here and there once in a while. So the bulk of the work is done initially. So in the case of the 4G facelift, it's a laser facelift. You need about one treatment for every decade of life of the patient. So let's say someone's 40, they're going to need 4 treatments initially, and it's spaced out once a month. Now, $850 per treatment is not cheap, obviously. You can do the math and see, like, we're now in the thousands for 4 sessions. But what I explain is like, listen, you're going to do this, and once we're done, you're going to need maybe one of these a year or one every other year. It's going to be a maintenance program. But also what we do, because I know in my case, there's only so much we can achieve with laser, but when you combine laser with injectables, then you can have like literally facelift effects. So what I do a lot of times is that I discount heavily on the laser because there are no consumables in that machine for me. I own it. And, injectables, I don't have a lot of leeway because the product is expensive unless you're buying counterfeit product or from shady sources. So what I try to do is like I heavily discount the laser packages. So let's say I could give even like 50%. I've actually given free laser treatments to a patient who spent $12,000 on injectables. Because at that point, I'm like, it's 40 minutes of my time. It's all good. It's worth it because I knew she would get a much better result and I could give her, a perk for spending that much money with us. So basically, what I try to explain is like, listen, you didn't age overnight. We're not going to fix this overnight either. It takes time, but if you stay the course, you will be very happy with your results. And we stand by our promises. And that's how.
All right, it's amazing. Um, you mentioned about three main things. I would like just summarize. Have equipments that can do what you tell online, right? And explain how the treatment works when the patients are with you. And also like try to give some discounts on the treatments that like people are looking forward to and like people are really interested in.
Yes. Well,
All
membership
right.
programs really
Yes.
help with that too, because we give 10, 15, 20, or 25% off on treatments. So let's say again, like if you have the diamond membership and it's $299 a month, let's round it up to 300. You didn't come all summer, you were absent for 3, 4 months. You have anywhere from $900 to $1,200 in your account. That's already a 4G facelift, a smooth eye, and a lip lace with your and plus your discount. So we and from a business standpoint, it's really interesting because we create recurring revenue, right? Now you have this predictability of how much money is going to come into your account. It pays the bills, it keeps the ship afloat. But you have happy customers who can get access to the high ticket items that they maybe wouldn't necessarily have access to if they didn't have a membership. So it really helps having an open credit membership. And I see a lot of spas doing memberships that are very, boxed in. So you can do, if you have this tier, you can do a facial. If you have this tier, you can do microneedling. And, people need different things at different times. So if you leave it open, then you're opening like a plethora of opportunity, and you're going to get those patients to try a lot more services than they would otherwise.
Yeah, I would say that's very
Can I
smart.
jump in for a minute?
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
of course, of course.
Excellent. So, Monica, I want to pose a question to you because it's never come up organically in any webinar or panel or talk that I've really ever been a part of. But it's just been just itching to get this out, and I'm so happy that I have the opportunity here. And I'm going to ask this question, but I kind of already both know the answer and where I want to take this. So, forgive me in advance. But would you offer just across the board a money back guarantee on your services?
Money back guarantee, we kind of do because
But like if you were like in writing, a patient comes in and is like, oh, I want those 4 procedures, yada yada yada,
so we
100% money
don't. And,
back
and
guarantee.
I'll explain why. You're dealing with human subjects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And within humanity, you could have adverse reactions, and people sign the consent forms, they're aware.
Yep.
Knock on wood, we've never had a serious, case. We've never had
Yeah.
vascular occlusion case or serious adverse reactions, but things happen, and there is a cost, especially with injectables. With lasers, I probably would not have so much of a problem, but with injectables, you have the cost of the product is so high. Now, another thing is money back guarantee would be complicated, especially for a one-off session, because sometimes people do one session, they're like, oh, I didn't like, you didn't follow through the entire treatment. So,
Yeah.
and it's all very subjective because I could put a before and after picture in front of someone. Um, and they could say, oh, I don't see a difference, and there's clearly a difference. It's very subjective. So I think it would be a difficult thing to do with. But tell me your thoughts on it.
This is the reason why I'm getting to this, because I can already tell, and I feel like I want to follow up with, what was your reaction when I asked you that, right? Because I've dealt with, in just the last 5 or 10 years, probably 1,000 practices in 20 countries all over the world, right? We're a rather large agency, and you know, we have all types, and this is what we focus on, right? So aesthetics is our business. And being said, like, I see the inside and outside and marketing and business of all of these practices, right? So it's just so fascinating to me, because you bring up this question and it's always this reaction, which is very reasonable. It's objectively reasonable. My follow-up question would be, and it's funny because I'm going to turn to why I'm really getting to the story in 2 seconds, but if I were to say, oh, I came in for your services and I had 4 services and I really, really disliked it, and it didn't turn out to be what you said it was going to be, and I'm super unhappy, there might be some hemming and hawing, but I would guess at the end of the day, you're going to be like, look, you paid for those 4 treatments. That's, you know, what did you say? $850 a treatment. So that's $3,400. Here's your $3,400 back. That's better than having to deal with an upset patient and an upset online
Absolutely.
review and
Absolutely.
everything else. And it is wild to me that 5 years ago, I met someone and I was talking to him, and he was talking about his practice and how successful it was. And he says, I offer 100% money back guarantee on everything. And he
Wow.
says, do you want to know how many people take me up on it? And the people that do, I would never want them back in my practice in the first place. The amount of money I spend going back out the door saves me so much money in the long run. He is the only one that's ever figured it out.
So I will tell you, we don't have the policy, but I have used it. So one time, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to name names, obviously, but I had this really unpleasant woman, and she came in with her son, and she was in the room with the son during his treatment. And at one point, she's touching the equipment, and I'm like, okay, this woman's out of her mind. Like we gotta. So, and then at checkout, she's basically treating it as a street market, trying to, bargain the price. And I said to her, I said, you know what? Thank you very much for your business. We appreciate it, but we're not charging you for today, but please don't come back. And I had to, because she was so wacky that and I risked getting a bad review, but I was like, you know what? I'll deal with that if that happens. Now, in another circumstance, we had a bad review, and I refunded the woman 100%. She didn't like her facial. I said, okay,
Right.
here's your money back. But you're right. Those are people you don't want back anyway. So I
Yeah.
don't
Not only
I
do you
don't
not
have
want
that
him
as
back,
a policy, but we do practice it.
right? But like, how great is it? Like, if you believe in what it is that you do and I offer services, this comes back to that transparency, that connection, that education, and that leadership. We stand behind the things that we do. Yes, this is a subjective industry. We essentially deal with a form of art. We're trying
Yeah.
to sculpt the face or do this or do that. And yes, but how many patients actually would ever take it there, would ever complain? Not many in a very robust and secure practice, especially like you said right from the beginning, those that are your friends. But I'm hijacking this conversation. So,
No, it was an
but it
interesting
was just a
question.
fascinating perspective because it seemed to fit so organically.
Thank you. Thank you for having that lovely conversation. I loved it. Um, all right, back to you, Sam. Your latest article in the Aesthetic Society News highlighted how the industry is shifting from SEO to AIO, showing how deeper strategy creates long-term visibility. So if you want to read more, Whitney has shared the link on the chat. I'm telling this to the audience. With that in mind, how can practices position high-ticket aesthetic packages so patients view them as meaningful long-term investments in their well-being rather than just a financial commitment?
So the question specifically is, how can patients see this as not just a financial,
Yes.
burden, but instead a true value
Long-term
to,
investment. Yes, exactly.
well, I hate to be that person, but I mean, Monica said it perfect earlier, and it was something that resonated with me, like almost to the point where I was like gonna get goosebumps, which is you never stop aging. This is something that's going to continue on forever. This isn't, oh, you wake up one day and you see that you have this problem and then you don't deal with anything for X amount of time and you come back and you're like, oh, now I have to deal with this. And if you are able to educate potential patients, I think it's as simple as remembering the saying that was told to you in some version by your mom, which to me was, a penny for prevention is more than, the pound for the cure kind of situation. How much are you willing to spend now in order to prevent, shape, sculpt, refine, remove, whatever it is you want to do versus wait? And then how much is that going to cost you later? And then along the way, like people want to age gracefully and they want to, not have that look where one day they look a certain way and the next day they look completely different. And I think that again, through education and through, it's sounding like a trope, but great content, whether that's video content or short form or long form or whatever it is, I think when you're able to connect with them either online or in person and explain it to them, I think the value sales proposition is easy. Again, I don't think it's about cost at that point. I think that the hurdle of how much this procedure will cost me is not the question. The question is, you have an issue. That's why you're here today. How do we help you achieve your goals? And if you were able to say, I'm able to help you achieve those goals, and it will cost 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000, but we have a good, better, best solution for you. How do you want to go about doing that? I'll tell you as the provider what I would want to do. This is the journey I would go. This is, if cost is an issue for you, let's do this. This will get you the best return. And if you do that, like Monica said earlier, with the patient's best interests at heart, then they're going to build up all the trust in you to do all of the things forever because you're making decisions in their best interests.
Yes, and we develop a lot of long-term relationships with these people because, again, once they trust you, they're not going to go anywhere else.
That's amazing. That's so amazing to hear. I love that part also. You never stop aging, right? That is the
No,
whole
you
truth
don't.
of this
That's your
industry.
Benjamin Button. You don't.
As
Exactly.
our entire audience has an existential crisis at the moment. Like they're all at home with their drinks, wondering what we're doing right now.
All right. Before we jumping into our next question, let's do something fun together. Okay. I want the audience to engage with me, interact with me in this. I want everyone watching right now to grab your phone for a second, right? Yes, go ahead and take it out. Don't worry, you're not going to miss anything on screen. Since you've got your phone in hand, let's do a quick pulse check. If you Googled your own practice right now, would you show up on the first page? Let's go ahead and check it, right? If it's a yes, drop a thumbs up in the chat. If no, no judgment. That's why we are here tonight, to learn, right? To grow. Here's why this matters. Patients are searching for you online every single day. The only question is, are they finding you or are they finding your competitor, right? I have a quick thing to share. Let me share my screen. There you go. On your screen right now, you will see a QR code. Hold up your phone, open the camera, and point it right at the code. You'll see a link pop up. Just tap it. That's your golden ticket to book your free one-on-one strategy session with marketing expert of Dental Marketing Society. Here's why this is such a special opportunity. Before your session, the expert will spend several hours researching your practice, your online presence, your competition, your local SEO. So when you meet, he'll come prepared with custom, actionable recommendations tailored specifically to your practice. So this is a gift, a free gift from the, sorry, I mistakenly said something else. This is from the Business Aesthetic Society, and this is a free gift for you as a thank you for joining in with us tonight. So now I'll tell you this. He takes a handful of these sessions because he invests so much time preparing. Once those spots are booked, they're gone. So think of it this way. In the next 30 seconds, you could lock in a personalized growth roadmap that most practices pay thousands for. It's completely free from the founder of Business Aesthetic Society, Naren Aruraja, also the CEO of Equa Marketing, who is our main sponsor for today. Don't leave that opportunity sitting on the table. Go ahead and scan the QR code now or click the link in the chat to secure your session. All right, with that, let's jump back into the conversation. Okay. All right, Monica, back to you. Bare Spa's philosophy is to enhance beauty while empowering lives. And that really shines through in the way you care for patients. How do you bring that philosophy into consultation? And what practical techniques help you position yourself as a trusted advisor rather than a salesperson when guiding patients toward the treatment that best fit their goals?
Again, education, pressure-free environment, having the right equipment, the right staff, highly trained medical professionals, a clean, beautiful environment. Bear speaks for itself. When people walk in there, every single person's like, wow, it's beautiful here. It smells so good. We mess with all the senses, visually, kinesthetically, even the way we serve coffee. It's like a mirror tray with a flower and a branded napkin and a glass, even just a glass of water. It always shocks me how people are surprised that we're serving a glass of water, not just a plastic cup, and which baffles me. I'm personally Brazilian, and in Brazil we don't really use disposables that much, and we have a dishwasher in the back. It's better for the environment. I don't understand why there's so much plastic use. Anyway, I digress. So but the smell, it messes with their sense of smell, and we have like an essential oil diffuser tied into our HVAC system, so it always smells amazing in there. Everyone who works there is very happy. I have a very strict selection process to hire people. We look, this is actually, I learned this from Danny Meyer, founder of Shake Shack. We look for kindness, optimism, commitment, and also obviously dedication and commitment and qualification. But first two things are optimism and kindness. So we work with very happy people, and it shows. So I think once you create that kind of environment, it's unbeatable. And I know in our industry there is a lot of toxic environments. I get applications every day, and I sometimes do interviews, and I hear stories and it's always the same places. I'm like, wow, it must be really bad. And patients feel that too. So if you have honestly a good environment, it's pleasant to be in there, and your staff is qualified and pleasant, there's no way to fail, honestly.
That is very true. So educating the clients, training your staff, and having a very pleasant, nice environment,
Yes.
and most importantly, having good equipments.
Yes. And
That's very-
pressure free. Don't forget that. We do not pressure
Yes,
anybody.
exactly. Right. Sam, I have a question for you. What strategies like lead nurturing, smart content, or social media help practices build that trusted advisor relationship so that when patients arrive, they already feel connected and ready to move forward? What is your opinion on this?
Well, I mean, again, this is a topic I could probably talk for the next hour, right? Nurturing a lead, nurturing a potential patient, it starts right at the beginning. I think there's so much research out there about the potential patient and their decision-making process, about the way they review things, the things that matter to them. You talked about it on the last kind of question to me. Who do they trust? Do they trust their friend's recommendation? Are they trusting Google? Are they trusting their handy dandy chat GPT on their phone? Or are they trusting their own senses and making that decision when they walk through the door? To me, the craziest part about this and is the real self study that they did several years ago that says a patient does 5 times more research on the practice after they come in for their first consultation than they do even before.
Wow.
So if you think you won the game by getting them to call, email, text, and then walk through that door, it's not over. You still need to connect with them. They need to match everything. And so what Monica was saying with how she makes her practice shine in all these different elements. It's an experience, right? Experiential marketing, essentially, which is we market without marketing. We're not selling, we're creating a connection. We're creating outreach to the patient, but then they take that with them. What do they remember? And then is that backed up by what they see online? Is that backed up by the email, the follow-up email that they receive? Is that backed up by what's on social media? Is that backed up on the testimonials? Are you a sophisticated practice that is doing video journeys of potential patients, being able to say, hey, there are people similarly situated to you, and they went through this process. They had the same questions, they had the same trepidations, and now look at where they are after they went through this. People want to see that. And, over at Incredible, we've coined this phrase that it's, what does it take to get them to grandma's house, right? They got to go through that journey and they got to walk through the woods and there's all these different things that they need to accomplish. And what does it really take to get them there? And throughout that entire process, you are nurturing them. The long and the short of it is they want to know who you are and what you do. That's simple, right? Then they want to say, hey, I'm the one that's most important. How can you specifically help me? Because I'm the star of the show, not you. And then once you've nurtured them and educated them and given them what they need for that, they say, okay, now I'm going to pay attention to you. Monica, can you actually do what you say that you can do? I want to check you out. I want to see your expertise and I want to see what you're good at and I want to read all those reviews and everything that you say about yourself and look you up. And then lastly, those journeys, those before and afters, those stories, are there people like me that have been through this and what has their experience been? And at that point, they're knocking on the door. They're there at grandma's house. And now it's just how easy is it to come back, build that relationship, come in for procedures, pay their bill, join the club, whatever it is. If those things are difficult, I was joking with a client just yesterday, and I said, you can't just be ready for a phone call on Tuesdays from 1 to 1:30. Like, we need to have people answering the phones all the time or the emails. It needs to be easy for them to connect with you. That's all part of the nurturing process. And if you're a more advanced practice that's doing really high-end, amazing marketing, then yeah, there's all of these different nurturing groups. And then you have text messages that tie into email marketing, that ties into content that is based on their segmentation. They're interested in this type of procedure then. And so we're going to send them specific content and updates and all of those kinds of things. But that really depends on the sophistication of the practice, where they are in their marketing, how big they are, and what they're trying to accomplish.
That is very true. Like, it's actually a journey. It's not like putting good reviews for them to check before coming to your service. That is a whole journey, right? Even after having the service, they will be going through your like services and reviews and everything. Monica, anything to add?
No, this is very interesting. I'm enjoying watching.
Right. All
And
right.
I agree. I agree with everything you said.
All right. Next question is for you, Monica. Given the success of various treatment packages and the positive patient experiences, how do you effectively encourage patients to proceed without making them feel pressured or manipulated? This is something we have been talking since the beginning. So could you elaborate on how the flexibility and value proposition of your membership program, with its open credits and significant savings, contributes to a no pressure environment?
Yeah, so we don't ever try to close. We don't. I know this might sound against every business, cutthroat business, uh, you know, teachings, but I don't believe in that. I think you have to give people time to think because sometimes, again, these are large investments, and I see it I mean, last week I thought I sold three full facial balancings. We're talking about anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 each. And it always baffles me because I go into these consultations always just trying to talk to people. I don't expect anything. I literally don't. I just want to connect with them and explain to them because, not everybody has that kind of money, and you never know what people have until they actually make a purchase. But it baffles me every time, like, okay, I'm going to do it. Like, and it could be that day or it could be a month later. I had a patient that came in and she had melasma. And she was like, "Oh, I'm really concerned about this." Was like beginning of summer. I said, "Listen, I don't want to touch your face with laser because honestly, melasma is the hardest condition to treat in dermatology. I'm going to give you this $18 thing that you're going to buy on Amazon. I'm going to give you the link. And I want you to use it every night, this and this way." And I gave her all the directions. And 3 months later, she comes back for a full facial balancing consultation, and she's actually getting it done tomorrow. So it's, all I gave her was my knowledge of a product that I don't even sell, you know. And I was happy to help her because I struggle with melasma. I know how horrific it can be, and I've tried so many different things, and it's really hard to get something to work because you're talking about a hormonal phenomenon, here. There's so much that influences how that develops, and it's only on the face. Um, so for me to be able to share that product with anybody, even if I don't make a penny on it, is so rewarding. And the fact that it costs $18 and anyone wants the $18 Amazon product, I'll share the link with you guys. It's called Clear CT Therapy, but I'll send the link. Actually, you know what? Let me pull it up here and I'll throw it in the chat. So she comes back 3 months later after the summer. I forgot about her. And then when she said to me, "Oh yeah, I came in for a consultation," because I forgot to look at her chart. I just, for some reason, I thought it was a first time patient. She's like, "Yeah, I was here." And by the way, I love that because she goes, "Yeah, I have melasma." I said, "I don't see anything on your face." She goes, "Yeah, it's that cream you gave me. It went away." I'm like, "Yes." And that generally makes me happy because guess what? Anything I do on her now is going to look 10 times better because once you get rid of hyperpigmentation, it's a clear canvas. So wait a second, I'll put in the link here in 2 seconds. CT Clear Therapy. I actually just got one to keep at the office today, and I'll show you guys here. It's this, but I am going to put the link here. And so, yes,
Monica's definitely making $1 for every one of these.
I
No, I'm
am
just kidding.
not
I'm
making
kidding.
it. You know, I don't have my own link. This is the Amazon link, but I should create my Amazon store with this because the amount of people I
You should.
yes. But anyway, so I literally keep one of these at the office and we make little samples for people to try it for a week. And it's amazingly hydrating. So it's excellent. You guys feel free to try. You will definitely like it. I promise you. Try it for like a month and see. Take a before and after picture, but you probably don't even need it because you will see the difference in the mirror.
Wow, amazing. If you have that connecting with people mindset, you will win the
Yes.
game. Right.
Exactly. And honestly, I don't do it to win the game. That's just who I am. I wanted to disrupt and elevate this industry because as a customer, I did not like being on the other end of this equation. And I thought, especially where I am, I live in the suburbs in New Jersey, in northern New Jersey, about 45 minutes from Manhattan. And over here, it's either a dermatologist's office or the dingy places. Now it's changed. There's a lot of competition now. But the places that are, the med spas that are around here are all very cutthroat, sales oriented. And I don't enjoy that. I don't even give my girls quotas, like just to give you an idea of, but we're successful. So there is a way to address this. And obviously we have a whole other, source of revenue with health insurance covered services. That's a whole different podcast and story. But yes, I think that for the out-of-pocket services, you're the less pressure you create, the more success you'll have. That's my 2 cents.
I think that connects back to what you said at the beginning. You started your business with everything that bothered you, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right,
I was
Sam.
an avid consumer of aesthetic services before I started my business, and I haven't changed except that I don't pay now.
Right. Okay. I'd like to get back to you, your recent article again, Sam. Because in that writing, you warn against quick fixes and emphasize smart patient-centered marketing. So when it comes to creating urgency through limited offers, seasonal promotions, or incentives, how can practices communicate that sense of timelines while staying fully ethical and avoiding any sense of manipulation?
I'm going to need about 3 minutes because I'm in Amazon purchasing multiple of these right now for my daughters and my beautiful partner. And I want to be able to have some at Christmas to give these
Sam,
out. So I'm going to need a few minutes.
Monica at BearLaserMedSpa.com. Anytime you have any questions, I am happy to help for free.
All right. Yes, urgency. And this is something I'm dealing with right now with a client that has a big promotion. You have a big event coming up, and you want people to engage. You want people to understand that it's limited time offer, or there's only so many spots available. But you have to be careful, right? Because no one wants to be really the med spa or the aesthetic center or whatever that's like, what do we need to do to put you in this laser today, right? So how do we find the
I'm like a
balancing
car
act?
salesperson. How
Exactly.
purchase this car today?
Okay. So what's the balancing act there, right? And I think it's about consistency. So if you say that there are 20 spots available or this is only going to last for a week, then that's it. It only lasts for a week and there's only 20 spots available. And there's no, well, you missed it by 2 days, but we're going to give it to you. Or, yeah, sure, there's 20 spots, but it's just a rough number. We're just using that to create a sense. It starts at the very fundamental reasoning of why you're doing it. If you're creating a reason for someone to buy and it's unethical in its nature, then it's just unethical and manipulative, and you're ultimately not going to be successful for very long. You might be able to be successful for a short period of time, but that's going to catch up to you. It always inevitably does. So that goes, by the wayside. So let's just talk about the ways to do it in which, like you said, it's ethical, it's non-manipulatable, manipulative, excuse me, and in the ways that it really will resonate with someone. And I think that this might tie back a little bit to what Monica was saying earlier in terms of people have money and they have a full year ahead of them and they might get this or they might get that. When you're dealing with something that the practice, right, wants to sell, and we have limited offers or a special promotion or this, that, the other. I think one of the easiest ways to convey that is to say, this is what we have, but we have other options as well. This isn't the only solution, but this is the solution we are highlighting right now. As long as you're keeping the patients first and you're building that trust with them through making the right decision, that's great. And I loved what Monica said earlier about not pressuring, not closing. I think one of the strongest positions you can actually come from is to tell someone, you don't need to buy this today. I want you to be 100% sure this is what you want to do. Again, I believe this is what you should do. And that confidence with you as the provider or your sales staff or patient care coordinators or whomever it is, right? Whatever nomenclature you use in your practice, they have to believe, they have to drink the Kool-Aid. Don't have them selling procedures or devices or technologies or services that they don't believe in. This is plain and simple. You're naturally going to see that reflected in the numbers. Why aren't we selling this device? Why aren't we doing this? Well, because they don't believe in it. And they don't want to sell it because they naturally are not that interested, regardless of how much commission or regardless of what special you put around it. So if you get them to believe and you have the best technology and you then bring the patient in and say, this is a limited time offer. This is something that I think will benefit you, but that's okay. If you need more time, take that time. That offer will go, but what's that peace of mind worth to you? We don't need your business today, not at the cost of you not feeling comfortable.
Absolutely.
Well, all of a sudden, right? That weight has been lifted from them. Well, if I buy it now or if I buy it in 6 months, it's still the right decision. I might as well buy it now while I'm going to save $300. So it's not the price that's ever the issue. It is the other things that they're not telling you. You address those online, in person, in email, with whatever, price handles itself. And the sale will sell itself if the people believe in it.
We have people that wait for our sales to buy things online. I have a client that every time we run a sale, she's purchasing something. So she's waiting for a deal, which is okay. But you also can't offer deals so often that it cheapens what you're selling, you know. So, and I totally, I should correct myself. The only time we put a sense of urgency into things is when there is a sale, but we don't really do it in person. We do it online. So it's a lot less invasive, in my opinion. It's like you send an email and say, you have until this day to purchase this. I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm conveying that message in writing through email or text message. And that I don't mind. I just don't like the whole calling people and they're in there. Oh, so if you close today, you're gonna get this much. I don't like that. And we had a sale with Epicurious, which like they could get one product for free if they bought the other. And I said,
Yeah.
listen, it's this month, but feel free if you want to wait, it's fine. And I give them a sample for free, which is a $75. It retails for $75. I give it to them. I'm like, here, go try it. It's an amazing line. You won't regret it. And inevitably they come back and purchase it. So
It's really interesting, like the type of practice you are and whether you live or die by the sale is a direct correlation, I think, to its overall success. Because when I go in, and I'm a nerd, I'm a tech guy and I'm a math guy, so I live in analytics and I look at the stats and I want to see like what is working and what isn't and how is that funnel, funneling. And anytime I go and I'm like, oh, their specials page is the number 3 visited page on their website or the second highest paid or visited page on their website. That's a flag, right? That we know that that's an issue because all they're saying is my only worth, my only value is a price value. I'm only as good as the cheapest, or potentially I'm only correlative to a dollar amount. My worth isn't tied to anything else. Those are the practices. When I first see them right from the beginning, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a challenge because you have to change that mentality. It's just a race to the bottom.
And I also think it comes down to, when I speak about price transparency, I'm not just talking about, having the prices exposed everywhere. It's making it fair. So we're fairly priced. I had a treatment that, the manufacturer said you could charge $450 for it, but it took me literally 3 minutes to execute, and it took 3 treatments. And I said, you know what? As a customer, my perception of value of this would be very minimal. So, uh, how about we sell it for 250, because there's no consumables. It's not like I'm losing money really, because I can create volume, but I'm giving something that I would pay. I would feel comfortable paying this much for this treatment because it takes these many treatments to see. It's a photofacial treatment. And guess what? We sell a lot more of those now because people feel like it's fair.
No, do you know why? That's not the right answer, Monica.
Why?
It's because you believe in it. You
Yeah.
think it's fair. So the fact that you believe in it, that exudes and radiates from you with every single time you talk about it. If
Yeah.
you actually thought it was worth 450, you'd sell them like hotcakes. The price wouldn't
Well,
matter.
well, and I will tell you why I don't think it is worth 450, because I know it takes time for that to take effect. And again, it takes I've timed it, 3 minutes from start to finish for execution.
Right.
So he's sassy at you, Monica. Funny in the comments. You're funny, Sarah. No, but he's right. He is right. You know what? The world perceives us as we present ourselves. And that was
Yeah.
an amazing catch of yours. This is like, this could be another podcast on human psyche, but you're right.
Pretty much what we do in this industry. If
But
you don't
I
think we deal in psychology,
Oh,
you have
absolutely.
no, yeah,
Absolutely. So
yeah,
I just think that, you know, in order for me to believe in what I'm selling, I have to actually stand by it. And okay, this is how much I would pay as a consumer. Again, if something is going to take 3, 4, sometimes 6 sessions to work, and every time I'm dropping $450, I'd be like, you know what? This is a little steep, you know?
yeah,
I don't see the value in it.
yeah,
And the amount of work it takes to do it too. So as a provider, I know, and you can't compare that to a 40 facelift that actually takes 40 minutes to execute. That's different. That's a different value. But yes, you're right. It's about what you believe it's worth.
yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, both of you. What an incredible evening this has been. I think the key to success in this industry is be true to yourself, be transparent, connect with your clients, connect with people, and you will win the game. It should be a win-win situation, both of you. So this is amazing. We've heard inspiring stories, practical strategies, and fresh perspectives that can truly reshape the way you grow and lead an aesthetic practice. So sessions like this remind us that aesthetic is not just about beautiful results. It's about smart growth, balance, and creating a legacy of care and confidence for every patient you serve. So before we officially sign off, let me give you one last opportunity to take action on 1 minute. Yes, take action. You've spent this hour investing in your knowledge, but the real transformation happens when you put it into action. I hope you can see the screen. All right. That's why Equa, our main sponsor today, is offering you a complimentary strategy meeting with their marketing expert. Imagine walking away with a clear, personalized roadmap that could change the trajectory of your growth. It's complimentary, it's completely free. Thank you for joining with us tonight. All right, a heartfelt thank you to our brilliant panelists, Monica DeAngelis and Sam Pig. You didn't just share information tonight, you sparked inspiration, giving us clarity, courage, and practical steps that we can put into work right away from tomorrow onwards. I encourage everyone here to reach out to our panelists if you'd like to continue the conversation, because most of us rarely have agenda-free spaces to talk about these challenges, and experts like Monica and Sam create exactly that kind of space for learning and fresh ideas. And to our amazing audience, you are the reason we do this. Your willingness to show up and learn and engage is what strengthens this community. We are deeply grateful for your time and energy present tonight. Thank you for being here and thank you for thriving with us. We can't wait to see you next time. Until then, take care.